Thanks, Carl. I'm here in the Senate Finance Committee hearing room with the chairman of the committee and a member of the Big Six on tax reform, Senator Orrin Hatch. Senator, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Well, it's nice to be with you.
So you held a hearing in this room yesterday. You sat up there on the dais and you said that your committee will not be a rubber stamp for any tax proposals from the House or from the White House. Aren't you guys all supposed to be on the same page here?
Well, we're all trying to get on the same page, but of course, you know, the Senate, the Committee on Finance is going to do this bill the way it wants to do it, and I think the Ways and Means Committee in the House will do the bill the way they want to do it, and then we'll get together in conference and reconcile the differences. But it's very difficult to predict exactly how these matters are going to turn out, you know, in advance. We've got a lot of really heavyweight senators on the Finance Committee, just to talk about our committee.
Are there any issues in which you see your committee going its own way?
These are all complex issues. There's no simple formula with regard to American tax reform. It's complex.
You said it's harder than health care, actually.
Well, it's much harder than health care.
Why?
Well, first of all, it requires a lot of intellectual acumen to be able to handle these matters. Plus there's a lot of differences, a lot of difference of opinion of various aspects of the code. Democrats want more revenue so they can spend more money. Republicans want less revenue so we can bolster and increase the economy and get more jobs and opportunities for people. You know, those two philosophies seem to collide all the time in these type of, in this particular area. But I'm hopeful we can bring both sides together. I've been able to do so in the past.
You've been at it for a long time now. Your colleagues in the House have laid out a timeline for when they want to get to a bill and hopefully potentially get it passed as well. They're adamant that this gets done in 2017. What do you think of that timeline? Well,
I hope we can do that. That would be the right thing to do if we can. I think the House has the right attitude and the right ideas. We worked extensively with them. I've spent a lot of time with Secretary Mnuchin, Gary Cohn, the financial advisor to the president, and Mnuchin, who's the Secretary of the Treasury. And I have to say that we spent a lot of time with people in the House and the Senate, including the leadership of the House and the Senate, so that we can at least get this matter going the way it should be going.
So letting this slip into 2018 would be a mistake, you think?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
Letting this slip into 2018 would be a mistake if tax reform takes longer than 2017.
Well, if it does, it does. But I actually believe we know enough about it that we can do this in 2017. But it's going to take a lot of cooperation of both Democrats and Republicans. And keep in mind, that's on the committee. Then when you go to the floor, it's another matter. Then you're going to have people, you have, you know, doubling and tripling of the ideas of people who have been waiting for a long time for a true tax bill so that they can put their own ideas and imprint on it.
You've been working on these issues, as we said, for a very long time now. What do you want to make sure this bill does?
Well, I really want to make sure that this bill increases the economic wherewithal of this economy, that we're not just going to do tax matters for tax matters purposes. There has to be a reason for doing it. And the reason, in my opinion, would be to uplift the economy, to get rid of a lot of things that are stultifying the economy, to provide more opportunities and income to the middle class especially, to make sure that it's fair. And also, there's so many other aspects to that, too.
Well, you said that you want to get rid of the alternative minimum tax, that you want to repeal the estate tax. Are there other things that you want to make sure you see jettisoned as part of this?
Well, I'd like to see the tax rates, individual tax rates, come down. You know, they're way too high. We have the highest tax rates in the corporate tax rates. We have the highest corporate tax rates in the industrialized world.
Is 15% corporate tax rate realistic?
Well, I have to say our present corporate tax rate's over 35%. If you count the states, you're well over 40%. So you're talking about a very uncompetitive tax system compared to the rest of the world, and it's affecting us and debilitating our ability to really compete in the world. So we need to bring down those corporate rates and individual rates as well.
And how much lower does the corporate tax rate need to go to make a real difference for businesses?
Well, the president wants it down to 15%. That would be wonderful if we could get it down there. We'll be working to try to do that. I sincerely doubt that we'll be able to get that get to that level on the corporate tax rates. But, you know, we have to bring them down from the current highest rates in the world.
Last question for you. You have, I believe, served 7 terms. I think that's right. You are 83 years young. Are you ready for retirement yet, Senator?
Well, not yet. No, I'm still a tough old bird. I work very hard. Nobody outworks me, and I really enjoy what I'm doing. I know that it's important. And my goal is to do what's right for America, not for the Republican Party or the Democratic Party, but to do what's in the best interest of our country and our people. And tax reform is an area where we can really do an awful lot of good for, you know, the middle class in particular, which is that's the area that we really want to help for the most part. And the poor are helped. They don't pay taxes, to be honest with you. But the middle class really shares the burden, the biggest burden of this economy, and we want to make sure that they're treated fairly.
All right. Senator, thank you so much for joining us today. I'll send it back over to Carl.